Yeah. All right. So, what inspired you to create parental guidance, and why did you find it necessary to do so?
I pretty much found it necessary to create parental guidance because I wanted to give parents a concrete way of bringing up discussions about certain aspects of social emotional intelligence. I find it necessary to really focus on that because a lot of the things that we're seeing in the world, a lot of the things that we see going on when it comes to politics, school policies, even policies and laws that affect our prison system and our healthcare system. You see that, a lot of it's a lack of social emotional intelligence, even in leadership. So I feel like if we start to teach our youth about it now, they will have better chances of having better relationships with people as they get older. And also, I wanted it to be something that can be widespread and easily consumed by a lot of people. So I made it universal so that people can, kind of tailor it to their own needs. And if everybody is talking about the same things at home, then we have more people on the same page when we go out into the community. So that's pretty much why I felt it was necessary to write this curriculum. And yeah, it is definitely needed.
So, technically, this is a curriculum, and when you think of the word curriculum, it's always associated with school. So, why did you decide to go ahead and write the curriculum for parents as opposed to writing the curriculum to be used inside of school?
That's a good question. Pretty much, I feel like parents need to be empowered. So I wanted to go on ahead and do something specifically for them. A lot of the things that are put in this curriculum are similar to things that you may have seen at school, your children may have seen at school. So it kind of gives you that. Home to school connection because you kind of use some of the same types of things. Like there's graphic organizers, of course, there's vocabulary, writing connections, things like that. So, those things kind of give you a chance to kind of have homeschool, but not just focusing on academia, more so focusing on like real life stuff, how to communicate with people, how to express your emotions, how to build relationships with people. Just stuff that'll just kind of build bridges, fill in the gaps for our young children. I know, a lot of times they're on, social media, they're on YouTube, they're consuming a lot of information, which can be really good, but sometimes they may consume some things that might not always be great. So, not that you want to kind of shy away from letting them see that stuff because at the end of the day they're going to get curious, but what you want to do is you want to be able to have candid conversations at home about certain things that your children may be seeing, maybe going through, maybe talking about, maybe witnessing, and you can talk about it at home, tie some social emotional lessons to it, and now you turn your things into learning experiences.
Describe a little bit more what the parent's role in the curriculum is and why is it important for parents to participate with their children?
Okay, so parents, your role is really just to facilitate the curriculum. You want to make sure that you set aside time to actually be consistent with it, of course. So that's going to be your biggest task. You want to stay consistent. But your role is really just to facilitate. The way that it's written is really a thing where it's like you guys are learning at the same time, and you and your child are pretty much engaging in discussions, engaging in activities. You guys are doing hands-on things together. And so it kind of more so puts you in a position of being a guide. You're guiding your child through learning these lessons, and then also you're reinforcing them afterwards. There's some ongoing tips for the parents as well that you're going to want to stay consistent on, stay up on, and really just make sure that your children are getting the most out of the curriculum. Another thing that you guys will be responsible for doing, of course, is just making sure that you're assessing your children the whole time. Give you tips on how to do that as well. There's some things that you can use to track progress, your progress and their progress. And so that's pretty much the role of the parents. You're just going to be a guide to your child. You're going to make sure you're very consistent. You're going to make sure that if there's anything that you want to add to the lessons, you're preparing that, you're being intentional about doing that. And, just making sure that they understand the main idea of the lesson.
What do you think today's children need more from parents?
Definitely more guidance. I think that parents are doing a great job, and I think that it's a lot of parents out there that are being intentional. A lot of people are already talking about socio-emotional intelligence at home without it being a curriculum, without it being anything in writing. They're just doing it from the heart. But I also feel like when I say guidance, I mean like maybe you just want to fine tune some of the things that you're doing. So maybe you want to have different ways that you make sure that what you're actually doing is actually working. Or maybe you want to have different techniques for being able to know whether or not your child is processing the information that you are, teaching them. So those are the things that this curriculum does provide. It provides you with like strategies, different things you can do, put on your toolbox, just to know that the stuff that you're doing is working. There's some ideas in there that you may not have even thought of. And so that's pretty much it.
So what do you think that children need today more from school?
A lot. A whole lot. But the very first thing I would say is more belief. I think the schools need to believe in children and their families more. I feel like there is a rift between families and schools, and that kind of breaks down trust. And then, once there's no trust, how can there be growth? So I feel like that's one thing schools should do. They should have more faith in children and their families. They should better equip themselves with how to handle situations and how to handle different types of people, how to handle different types of personalities, and just how to be more empathetic. That's everybody, not just teachers. I'm administrators too, people who make the policies for the schools too. A lot of times they never even taught in the classroom, yet they're making policies that are affecting people who do that every day. And so it starts with belief, but it's a whole lot of stuff that needs to, it's a whole lot of stuff that needs to change.
So what is the ultimate value that parents and children can gain from parental guidance? And how can that segue into helping both parents and children in making decisions for their lives?
I think that once you get into the lessons, right? Once you get into understanding why we're even doing it, you get into the discussions, you get into the activities and things like that. And as you go through it, I think over time, what it's going to do is it's going to heighten people's metacognition, pretty much. It's going to make you think about what you're thinking. It's going to make you think about what you're doing. It's going to just heighten your conscience. And just bring you to a certain level of awareness of how you actually show up. Also, how to discern other people and how to handle people who may not, be on that, mode. They might not be thinking of those things just yet. They may not have been introduced to, people who think that way or who have resources that they can share with them. So, it just teaches you how to pretty much just become more conscious. It's going to definitely heighten metacognition and consciousness in people, the ones who stay consistent and stick to it, definitely.
So what are some of your favorite topics in parental guidance?
Yeah, I got a lot of favorite ones. I have a lot of favorite ones. I like the empathy lesson. I love that lesson. I like the lesson on effective communication. Definitely a good one. But I gotta say my favorite one. Mm-hmm. Did you say my favorite or the most valuable?
I said, what are some of your favorites?
Okay, those are some of my favorites.
Okay.
All right, so my favorite one, the one that's my favorite one is the one about assertive communication. I really like that one. I feel like that's necessary because we always talk about effective communication and things like that, but we got to also talk about assertive communication because it's balanced. Like, you got to balance it out. And I like that one because it takes children through, and you as a parent, it takes you guys through the process of like deciphering what's assertive communication versus what's aggressive, or what's passive aggressive, or what's passive. So I like that because it's like it gives you a wide range of different things to look out for. And like I said, it's going to heighten your awareness. So assertive communication, that's my favorite lesson in the curriculum, but my other ones are, like I said, effective communication, empathy. It's some other good ones in there too. It's a lot of other good ones in there. Those are just the ones that are like the ones that as I was writing them, I was like, oh my God, I love this. I was just like falling in. Those are like my top 3, but it's a lot of other good ones in there too.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So out of all the topics discussed in parental guidance, which one do you think that you personally needed the most as a child?
All of them. Shoot, all of them. Like, really all of them. But the one I can say that I needed most, as an adult, I could say the one that I probably needed the most was the long-term project at the end, which is my life plan. I needed that one the most because, like, I feel like if I would have knew exactly what I wanted to do in my youth, or at least had a better understanding of what my capabilities were and things like that, I probably would have saved a lot of time. I would have saved a lot of time, but yeah. So yeah, I think that's something that I needed. Like that is something I never had.
And which one do you think that most parents would enjoy the most?
That's a hard one. It's one about juggling. I think they would really enjoy that. You're probably like, what? You got to get in to know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I think parents will really enjoy that one. I definitely think they'll enjoy the assertive communication. I think they'll appreciate that one.
Yeah, it's an eye opener.
Because like these kids, I'm gonna tell you, the kids nowadays, in my opinion, are a lot nicer than the kids were back when I was growing up. So that's just in my opinion. And I've been around a couple kids, and I can say, like, they are a lot more, they're loving. They're more loving. They have big hearts. But with that, sometimes they don't know how to decipher how they want to communicate with people or how people should communicate with them. So yeah, it's okay to be assertive. We need to teach our children that, so that way people aren't taking advantage of them. And then not only that, but it's okay for them to know when someone's being aggressive with them. They need to know that so that they know how to assert themselves in that situation, or anything like that. So I definitely think that's the one the parents are going to find the most value in. But I think they are going to like that juggling one for some reason.
Okay. So y'all had something to look out to, because juggling one is a big mystery right now.
Hey. Y'all going to be like, oh my goodness.
All right. So can busy parents and single parents still get the same effects of this curriculum?
Yes. Definitely. The reason why I say that for sure is because whether you're married or single, you're going to be able to tailor this to your needs. It's universal, like I said before. It's very universal. So It's not written for a specific sex. Like, it's not just for mothers. It's not just for fathers. It's for parents. So it's not for any specific gender. Um, it's not for any specific race. Anybody can use it. um, is definitely something where if you have multiple children, you can do it with multiple children. If you just have one child, you could do it one child. If you choose to do it with each individual child, say you have multiple children, you want to do it with each of them individually, you can do that. You make your own schedule. Like I said, you want to make sure that it's something you could stay consistent with. You make your own schedule, you stick to it, and definitely, no matter what, whether you're married, single, busy, work from home, you can do this. You can definitely do this. And another thing that you can do too is you may have some high schoolers. That's why I say it's for ages 9 to 18, because you may have some high schoolers, that can go on ahead and do the lessons with your younger child, or you can do it with both of them. So that way you guys are all on the same page. So definitely, it can be done. It's definitely something that's doable.
So, what advice would you give parents who are interested in creating stronger relationships with their children?
Take your time. Take your time. Be intentional. When I say be intentional, what I mean is, like, you want to make sure that whatever you're doing, it has a specific purpose, and you want to make sure that your actions align with the purpose, right? You want to try to get results that are aligned with your purpose. So you want to make sure that, again, like I said, just be intentional. Anything that you do with your child, anything that you plan with your child, see it through all the way. Take your time. Don't be judgmental on yourself. Don't be hard on yourself. Be honest with your children. Um, Try to be as consistent as possible. And if you can't be consistent for whatever reason, let your children know right away. Be honest. And yeah, those are the main things I can say. If you want to build great relationships, just take your time, be intentional, and be honest,
Right.
consistent.
How long did it take you to create parental guidance?
Oh, Lord. Okay. It took a long time. Not really. It took a long time. It was a long span of time. And the reason why I say that is because, for one, in the beginning, I was all over the place. So I actually originally had a curriculum, a version of this curriculum written, but it was written for a summer camp. And so what the project for me was to turn the curriculum that I wrote for that place into a curriculum that is going to be used at home between a parent and a child, as opposed to a camp counselor and a camper. So that was the biggest challenge. So it took me a while to get all my thoughts 100% organized, and then to go on ahead and write everything out. I will be honest, I took some breaks. So that's why I said it was a long span of time. I had to take some breaks just to make sure I was doing things right. And getting everything out the way it was supposed to be the way it was supposed to be done. So it did take me a long time. But yeah, I think when I wrote the camp curriculum, that was about 2 weeks, and I think I worked maybe like 4 hours each week. I mean each day, and then for this, it was like maybe like 4 or 5 months for parental guidance to transform that into this. So yeah, it was a while. I guess you could say 6 or 7 months.
Yeah. So, what are your future plans to expand on what you started with parental guidance?
Okay. Well, for one, I'm definitely working on a volume 2. Want to do another one. I have a bunch of different lessons for that one, which is going to be more so based on like community service. So, of course, still teaching social emotional intelligence through that, but I want it to be a little bit more interactive than just this one. This one is home based, but I want the other one to be more like on the field, creating agency. So that there's going to be something for younger children for sure. Just more curriculums, more online courses, doing the outreach program as well. So that way, of course, you have children that their parents aren't able to do this with them, for whatever reason. So the outreach program is going to have somebody reach out to them and go ahead and do the curriculum with them on a weekly basis. So that way they're getting it from somewhere. A parent mentorship program is in the works as well, where I'll do one-on-one, just guidance, not anything strenuous where, like I said, no one can teach anybody how to parent, but just maybe giving some tips and some strategies and, things along the way just to make life a little easier.
I love that. So can't wait to see how that goes.
Thank you.
One of the most difficult parts about being a parent is that there aren't any rules. That's exactly why I created Parental Guidance. This is a home-based curriculum that includes a textbook and an online course. This curriculum was constructed to assist parents in teaching their children about socio-emotional intelligences. We also key in on executive functioning and positive youth development. This includes self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, building and managing relationships, making responsible decisions, personal development, and self-evaluation. There are 30 lesson plans that include rationale and objectives, discussions and journaling, activities, and ongoing tips for parents. The online course teaches you how to successfully implement this curriculum with your children. Don't you need parental guidance?